these are stories, man. This is what our channel's based upon.
I'm aware.
Do we need an intro though?
No, but I want.
So check this out.
I'm
I
checking.
told you I was always like at my grandmother's. So
Yeah.
I was in San Jose, 89.
During the World Series.
I believe it was in fifth grade. I had just gotten my first cassette.
Ooh, what was your first cassette? What was your first?
I bought. I'm gonna tell you.
Oh, okay.
I had my grandmother. She took me to. It was with my own money. You know, my own cassette. Okay, the very first music
that you bought.
I've ever owned that I didn't buy with my own money, but the first one I've ever owned, Tears for Fears.
With wow.
Shout.
That was the album. Okay.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
So that was the first one I ever owned. After that was like Van Halen, stuff like that. But the first one I've ever bought, 1989.
Okay.
1989. Had my grandmother take me to the music store. It's no longer a business. It's called the Warehouse.
Oh, all those places like Sam Goody and Ocean.
None of them are, really.
None of them are. But see, when you bought it, was your cassette like in that big like?
No, there wasn't a CD. It wasn't a CD.
Because like where I purchased them, the cassettes were in those big giant things.
You're thinking of CDs in the long boxes.
No, I'm not. I'm talking about a big plastic U that was attached.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. So you didn't steal them. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Like so you had to like pull it out of a slot. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Appetite for Destruction.
Nice.
Yes. And I was listening to it. I thought it was so cool because, I mean, just think, like, I lived in San Jose, you know, California all my life.
So you were welcome to the jungle. And you were like all in
I grew up around baseball and the Giants. The Giants were my team. The Giants and the A's in this World Series. It was so awesome because it was just getting ready. We were just getting ready. It was going to be on the TV. We were all kind of like going to do like an early dinner and all this stuff. And so at that quite proper. So I was in my grandparents' garage.
You have a thing about garages.
I know. I wasn't in or out. I was like in the doorway, like the.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
So I was.
Oh.
You know, here. No. Nothing. It's nothing crazy.
Okay.
I'm just gonna share my experience with you, just so you know, like what an actual real earthquake feels like. So, or looks like. And we're talking like the fault line at that point was within miles, only miles.
Yeah.
From where I was at. I had my Walkman.
And you were listening to it?
Yeah. I had my earphones in, you know, the big like ones with the metal brackets, you know, and we used to have the ones with the metal brackets. Like it just like pinched your hair and your skin, and you're like, God dang it.
You were like, and it had the big stupid foam coverings.
Yes. So I thought I was just really cool, you know. And I'm just out there waiting. Like it was just the coolest time, dude. It was it's October. It was
the weather
October
was nice.
17th. October 17th, 1989.
The weather was nice. You had your walk.
It really was. It was beautiful outside. And my uncle had lived there, and his car was parked in the driveway on the far side of the driveway from where I was at.
Mm-hmm.
So I have it loud. I'm hearing, you know, Mr. Brownstone, we've been knocking, you know, whatever. And I'm like, yeah, all right.
I'm so glad you went for one of the tracks that was not like the iconic track.
No. That's
good. Okay.
In the middle. Okay, yeah. You know, whatever it is, whatever. So, and I'm like, all right, because like I never heard that song. You know, it wasn't on the radio. I was
yeah,
like,
they
oh my
didn't
God.
that one got no airplay. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, oh my God, this is crazy, you know? I'm like, and I hear this. Like a drop.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it was more like a, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
All right. So I do this thing. What the hell? The gas can, which was empty, so my grandparents knew what they were doing. The gas can was on a shelf, and it fell on the ground. Freaked me out for a second.
Well, yeah, that
because
was
I was like,
I
was like, oh my God, right? Like, I was freaked. I was like, what? Okay, I thought maybe I was like, yeah, you know, and
maybe
I
you'd
like
done it.
I hit the garage or bumped something. I don't know, like, or whatever.
You were in 5th grade. I get it.
Paradise City comes on.
Also a solid track.
Yes. And I started doing this thing, you know, like you see on.
You started doing the
MTV,
Axl
you know?
Rose.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And that song was rocking. You know, take me down to the paradise. It was like boom, 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 and and I was like, all right. And I was like, yes. And then I started like falling.
Oh my God.
My grandma and my sister was a really young toddler at the time. Comes running out of the house with my sister in her arms.
Well,
and then grabs the pole of the house and it's standing there. And I'm going, what the f- is that? You know,
you're completely oblivious.
and I'm like, oh my God. I took my thing off and I'm like, oh. And I look over, my uncle's car is literally doing this off of the ground,
Dude.
but like a wave, just like this,
Dude.
just like this. And the road both ways was going like this. Like, I'm not kidding. Everything, all of everything was like this. And you can see the power lines, they were just trickling like this.
Yeah, just the wave was going through everything.
Yeah, and it was a wave. It wasn't like a shake.
No, it was a wave.
And all the cars were doing this. And I started looking at the driver. I was like, oh my God, Grandma grabbed me. Yeah, probably the last place you want to be is like on the pole of a house, whatever. But and then the windows were open because it was like a nice day, and I could hear inside
What? Stop.
the game because they were getting ready for the game. It was about to start. You know, with the opening ceremonies, the national anthem, introducing the players, and it never you could hear them go, we just had an earth, and then it was
I was watching that. I was watching that going, what? You know?
Yeah. And they didn't get it as strong as we did. And I remember, oh my God, there was like pandemonium, you know, because they emptied that. Dude, everything on my grandma's like shelves and like the mantle, it was all of it was off and like broken. It was just like, it was so crazy. And I couldn't walk. Like, I had to like figure out with falling. So I have a really hard time listening to Paradise City.
Whoa.
For years.
Really?
Yeah. Years.
Wow. Like, it just.
And every time I hear it, I always will remember that specific time and day. I can never imagine what it's like to be in a hurricane or
which is crazy.
Tornado.
It's,
you know, I couldn't imagine, you know, and it's like, it's crazy how we experience different things in different ways. And I like that, but it's like, I'm glad that you never have experienced an earthquake like that.
Yeah.
And I'm positive, you know, I mean, I'm positive that you're glad I've never experienced like an actual tornado or a hurricane or whatever.
Yeah. No, they're
But I mean, an earthquake it's like so traumatizing because I cannot take away from tornadoes and hurricanes. Don't get me wrong. It's one of the only natural disasters other than like a random fire. It's not predictable. It is getting more predictable now.
Right.
I understand there's research and stuff like that, but it's not. And there were aftershocks after aftershocks after aftershocks. I mean, it is even little teeny aftershocks. Your bed goes like this, and you feel like you can wake up, but it's not just like a boom, boom, boom. It's like if I could show you with the movement, it's like this, just like that, and then it's like, and then it just goes like that, like it gets like worse. It starts out and then it gets worse, and then it's like, oh, because you don't know how long, and that lasted. I think
it probably felt
God.
like it lasted a lot longer than it actually lasted, but yeah.
Where I was, I believe it was a 7.1.
It was a significant.
But I do remember it, like the average, I think it was like a 6.8 or something like that.
It was a significant earthquake, and you would have been really close.
Right, and then I remember after that, like we went inside and we were like, oh my gosh, and it cut to the news and it showed the Bay Bridge.
Yes.
Oh,
dude.
Honestly, it kind of actually gets me emotional because like,
no, it's
they were showing the bridge live because they were saying, I mean, literally it was so the Bay Bridge is 2 levels.
Yeah, I know.
So one goes this way and one goes this way. And this just done, right? You couldn't see it. And these cars were going like this. And the live news was showing this car just like this way, away from the camera. Just boom.
Yeah.
Gone. And I was like, ah. And then it just kept getting worse because the little areas were like, oh my God. And like my that was hard to watch.
My dad was a news hound, so to speak. He always had the news on. So even as like a young kid, I was hyper aware of world events and things like that. So yeah, I saw all those clips as a kid. Now I was older than you, but not by much. So it was I still have those pictures in my head, but I didn't live it. You know what I mean?
I mean, I'm looking at the car. I mean, it. Yeah. I mean, it's just boom, 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 like hydros. The flipping switches.
Yeah. Now, I assume the road buckled and there were issues with the road there too?
Not much. It just bended with the earth.
That's so weird.
Yeah, and it was nuts.
Oh,
like, and that's the thing is that every time, and it's like anyone who's been through, let's just say, in at least in my generation around that time, that earthquake in particular, anyone who's been through that, I'm positive we all have like some sort of like a PTSD with it. I mean, some may not affect more than others, but like as soon as I feel like a little, it does that. It just does a little shake, and then like this. As soon as you feel that, I mean, I get into this like, oh God, like, and it really awkwardly it's like a panic mode.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Because you're like, I mean, you don't know, the whole road's gonna cave in, and you're just gonna fall right through, to the core of the earth.
You need to move. I'm just saying.
But that's what I'm saying. It's like, gosh, people, like I'm saying, people, I'll never live where there's tornadoes, or so I'll never live where there's earthquakes. So I don't know. I think we all have our things, but.